The knees are 85, they say, from the 3 knee surgeries. But
Have you done trainings?
yeah,
Wow.
they say it's not a matter of when.
I just said this in 24, this in 25.
How
So
was
this
it?
I can walk now.
Not too bad.
Not as good now.
Very good. See, that's what I hear.
This
though.
one went right away. This one took me from January to June for rehab.
Yeah.
It never went all the way. I told him, I says, I'm 76 years old. I can walk. It don't hurt. I'm fine.
Makes a good day.
I appreciate
The only
that.
thing I noticed when you don't use it for a while, you lose strength. You got to kind of build back up a bit.
Yeah.
I told you for one, it's just you got to do what they tell you.
Oh,
Keep
yeah.
exercising.
Yep.
I still got that thing. I put my foot when I'm sitting down and just pull my leg up, hold it, just to kind of keep the strength up.
Little bands and whatnot.
Because I think you do lose stuff as you get older.
Testing, testing.
As you get older,
Ready for the night.
as you get older, if you have an ache here, it goes down here, then it goes here, then it's there.
See if I can find this stuff to log into the CMAB yet. We've been so busy, I haven't even got to look at that yet.
I give all.
We're pushing and talking and testing the mic, just testing the mic.
There it is.
How is that possible?
Flying.
I don't know if you've noticed that.
Right, you both got those push to talk now?
Push to talk, yep, got it.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be free that way, though.
We just sent out 12:15 and we just now get them.
Christmas rush. Stuff like that, you know.
So has everybody heard up here that it's push to talk?
John's not the only one that, I don't know if you wanna check his out, 'cause it seems to be a pretty constant.
Might turn on and off. It works for a change.
Mine seems good. This is the one that's live. We like your
4 out of the 5 guys all don't have no hair.
everybody.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, or reflection, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Eads,
Here.
Councilwoman Jackman,
Here?
Councilman Hayes,
Here.
President Peters,
Here.
Councilman Hitt,
Here.
Councilwoman Trainer, Councilman Boyd,
Here.
Councilman Stahl.
Present.
Okay, for the minutes from January 5th meeting, Chris sent those out this evening. If you could take a look at those and see if there's any corrections or concerns, and then we'll approve those next meeting. There are no public hearings, communication announcements. We do have the city administration appointments and reappointments. Did everybody get a chance to look at those appointments? Any questions or concerns? Okay, all in favor of approving those appointments and reappointments?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On to audience concerns. We have Kevin Crosley. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
So together, I can't see him.
Kevin Crosley, 1044 Portway. Concerns sanitation. I know there's a lot of misconception people are posting. The fact that people want to say that we charge for a lid being open, that is not true. Originally, I heard that that was something that when the first went to this, that was, the BPU had stated that if the lids weren't shut, you would be charged, but I've been here 2 years, not charged. I have not seen anybody charged for a lid being open on their trash can. The only thing people get charged for is if it's sitting outside the trash can on the ground. And the misconception is when it says bulk pickup, a lot of people assume they put furniture, couches, chairs out. That's just how Mid-Ohio puts it on the bill as a bulk pickup. So it could be 1 bag, it could be 5 bags, with a minimum of 1 yard being charged. So that's where a lot of this misconception comes from. But absolutely not are we charging residents if their lid is open. What happens if the wind blows the lid open? Do we charge you for it? No. So that's all I wanted to state, is that from us in the sanitation department, we do not charge for lids being open. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. On to committee reports. Greg?
The Personnel, Budget, and Finance Committee met on the 13th. A couple things to run by everyone. We'll just use for the year. The overall revenue for the year was $23,821,696 and change. That includes $4.2 million for the police building, the loan that was put into the revenue. The expenses were $21,455, $277, rounding that. And the tax department, for the year on the general fund taxes, we were down 1.41% total for the year, and for the fire department it was 0.13%, so pretty close to what it was, but down slightly for the year. We had a number of items that came up. Most of these, I think all of these, are going to go before council tonight on new business, including donations that were made for the police and fire, the cash flow transfers, which are pretty normal, some training funds that need to be reappropriated, and we might hear some more about the police building updates. That was brought up. I don't know if Mr. Saltzman may discuss that later, but I believe that's just about everything that came up in the new business. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa?
I attended the Public Service Committee meeting also on Tuesday, the 13th, and I have the Street Department report from that meeting. As usual, the Street Department was very busy doing lots of jobs all around town. A few notable things they did. They, again, had to work on a couple of the trash trucks. Trash departments met more than once with the boring companies, replaced some street signs, had to report some lights that were out to Ohio Edison. They did take down the Christmas lights, changed the lights at the schools since they were off for break, patched some potholes, changed a couple of traffic lights. They did salt and plow and ordered more salt with all the snow that we've had. Hauled some scrap, fixed some potholes, and let me see, cleaned a ditch, cut ornamental grass at Triangle Park, put some blocks around the Hope Box at Merrimack Park, and let me see, they did remove a beaver dam at the bridge at the old landfill, picked up some yard waste, and they were very busy. That's all that I have.
Thank you. Rich?
Had public safety meeting January 13th, called meeting in order 6 p.m. All my committee members were present. We approved the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 meeting, 3-0. Chief Eads gave his report, fire, EMS, and Mr. Hitt will give that report momentarily. Chief Nickel was there, gave his police report. Mr. Stahl will give that to council here momentarily. Safety Service Director had no new business for us. We had no new business. We had no old business, and there was no public comment. We adjourned at 6:15. Next public safety meeting will be on February the 10th, 6 p.m.
Thank you. Andy?
I attended the public safety meeting, and I'll give the fire department's report. They had EMT refresher training. They had new part-timer orientation training. They had several students for ride time from tolls and grant paramedic class. They completed the toy drive festivities, and they assisted with Women's Federation with furniture moving from the candy sale. And as of the end of the year 2024, there was 2,460 incidences, which came out to an average of 6.7 incidences per day. And in 2025, they had 2,706 incidents, which came out to an average of 7.2 runs per day. And so far to this point, this year, they've had 102 incidences, which is 7.8 runs per day. And then I also attended the Public Service Committee meeting. And there'll be legislation coming up at the next meeting regarding vacating an alley. We also talked about sidewalk ramps and possible grants to complete all those ramps throughout the city. We also talked about the storm sewer issues and how repairs are done for that. That was about it. The next meeting is February 10th at 5 o'clock in the meeting room next door for Service Committee. That's it.
Thank you. Shannon?
Just one push to talk, right. Just one question. Greg, I don't see those agenda items. Okay.
That's actually probably the next meeting, not tonight. Yeah, they'll be on the next agenda, I'm sure.
So, yeah, all old business for tonight.
And also, I also neglected to say that we're going to meet on the 10th also at 6:30 p.m.
All right, thank you. Tommy?
All right, got to attend the Parks and Recreation Committee, Board of Zoning Appeals, Public Service Committee, Public Safety Committee, and Finance Committee. So it's been a busy last week and a half. Parks and Recreation is what I'm going to be going over. And so at this committee, we discussed that recreational basketball has about 2 more weekends left in their regular season. Tournament games are starting Monday, 1/19, and wrap up championship games on Sunday, 1/25. Spring volleyball registration is live on Civic Plus catalog, so get an account set up there, and that way you can register all your kids' stuff right on through the online site. We also discussed the pool prices and possibly looking into seeing if there's any changes we would maybe like to make to help cover the last of pool fees. In this case, last year looking at it, we had about 7,000 people attending. And so with being only about $12,000 short on actually covering funds for that, an extra $1 to increase would actually do really well. We are looking into resident versus non-resident rates and seeing if maybe we can look into adding that down the road. That's all.
Thank you. John?
I attended the Service, Safety, and Finance Committees, and I have a report for the Public Safety Committee briefing on January 13th. Building construction is progressing with wallboard, insulation panels, and detention. Siding roofing is in progress with all roof trestles completed, expected to be completed by the middle of June. LPD participated in the annual Operation Santa Sleigh in Columbus at Nationwide's Children's Hospital. We are in the process of selecting applicants for open police officer positions and continue to solicit lateral entry officers. Detective Greg Perkins will be retiring in February after 20 years with LPD and over 29 years in law enforcement. The funding for a completed cruiser package was used to buy a Ford PIU. However, we are waiting for an upfitting as the original completed cruiser was sold prior to funding being available. We had 3 officers on restricted duty due to various health conditions, so the hiring of a second administrative support position is being held for consideration later in the year. LPD conducted the annual Shop with the Cops, serving a total of 28 children. LPD handled 8,765 calls in service in 2025, a 22% increase over 2024. Officers filed 1,463 incident reports, a 6.7% increase. There were 234 criminal charges filed, 896 traffic offenses. Division also handled 52 injury crashes and 182 property damage crashes. There were 73 OVI, and the officers completed 2,758 traffic stops with 1,593, or 58% of those, resulting in traffic warnings. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. On to city official reports. Matt?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Just a reminder that I will be giving the State of the City address at the next City Council meeting on February 5th. I look forward to talking about all the great things that we've been able to accomplish and some of the plans that we have for 2026 and into the future. I did speak before about Business View Magazine had published, or about the article, and they have published that article in London. The article is named Growing with Purpose, which talks about balancing growth, infrastructure, and keeping that small town charm. I'm excited to highlight all the great things going on in London and the teamwork taking place to make it happen. So you can find that on businessviewmagazine.com. The construction of the new police department, as Councilman Stahl said, it's moving along pretty well. The trusses have gone up, the exterior is being covered, and it's really starting to take shape. So they will continue to work hard as they complete the exterior so they can move to the interior. And as he said, we are on schedule to complete the construction in June. I've been able to get out in the community a little bit for some outreach. One thing I was able to do recently is teach junior achievements in Miss King's kindergarten class at London Elementary. And if anyone's ever taught junior achievement, teaching kindergarten is quite the good time. So this was a wonderful class, though, with a lot of bright young minds. And as you know, I pride myself on being active in the community, and because the responsibility of a mayor is the community outreach and just showing up and staying engaged with all the residents of all ages. Since the last city council meeting, there has been a few meetings take place. The Parks and Rec Commission met, and they are looking at the current price to enter the pool, possibly an increase. The Board of Zoning Appeals met and heard one case for the Buckeye Community School. They had a prior application for a conditional use permit, filed 6/25/24 on behalf of Buckeye School. It was approved for the conditional use permit, and it was granted the whole building for educational purposes. On December 11th, 2025, a modification of the plan for the building was filed. This details a list of uses that would otherwise be permitted in the district. However, since the entire building has a conditional use permit, it needed to be modified. So that case was heard and was passed. Their plans are to add possibly a doctor's office, a salon, and a greenhouse area. The Planning Commission meeting for this last week was canceled due to no cases on the agenda. We are continuing to get training on City Logic software for the sidewalk grading. And actually, our next training is tomorrow. So once we finish all of our training, we'll be able to present the information on the sidewalks to everyone. I do look forward to furthering the conversations with City Council on how we will move forward with the repairs after that is presented. Now on to the fun fact, which is the number 32. That is actually the number of weddings I performed in 2026. As mayor of the county seat, I have the ability to perform wedding ceremonies within the county. So that takes a total number of weddings I've performed as mayor since 2017 to 289. It's kind of a funny number, so I just thought that was kind of cool. I appreciate you guys and thank you for your time.
All right, Steve, you have?
Yeah, really, the only thing else I have to offer, everybody else hit on the meetings and that is, I did attend civil service meeting yesterday. They exhausted the current, or the former civil service list for police officer. They had offered a conditional offer of employment to one officer. We anticipate him going to the training academy in March. As you heard with the shortages, we're still addressing the other. That list expired. They did certify a new list, and I know the police have been interviewing off that, so we hope to make, hopefully see a few additional officers potentially picked from that to bring our staff back up. That's it.
All right, Kenna?
I have nothing.
Raquel?
Nothing.
All right.
Pardon me. Raquel, our law director, good to see you here. Thanks for coming. I know you were originally intended to come for a different reason, but one of the questions that I'd asked you the other day was about solicitors door to door. And I didn't know if you had a chance to look into that or you could give us any further. I know a lot of people complain about as many people knocking on the doors right now, especially from the electric companies and the aggregators that are trying to get people to switch over. Can you give us any further information about that at this time?
Not at this time, no. I'll need a little bit more time to look into it. It's on my list, but I don't have an answer for that yet.
Okay, thank you for that. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your comments tonight. You added a lot of new information that I'm glad that we got to hear. So I'd also like it with those reports from the other company or the other committees. That'd be great if that was also emailed us, because that was a lot of good information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to old business. Up for a fourth reading, Resolution 190-25. Can I get a motion to read by title and number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 190-25, sponsored by Andrew Hitt and Lisa Jackman, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for the Sanitation Department services.
So this is, would allow the Safety Service Director to put out bids for privatization of the sanitation services provided to the city.
Any questions on this? What are council's wishes?
Move to adopt.
No second.
I would just-
Councilman Stahl?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jackman?
Yes.
Councilman Hitt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trainer?
Yes.
Councilman Hayes?
Yes.
And Councilman Boyd?
No. So this is for us adopting to go with Rumpke and, or put out bid for it.
Speak in the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry, that was off. So are we not going to read through the others at all first, or are we just going to go with this one? Because officially, if we were to pass this one, we're not even going to look into the rate increase then? Do I have that?
Can I address something? So there's been a lot of misinformation, that point there exactly, going with Rumpke. That is not what this is. So, and I think it needs to be clear. It sounds like what this one has to verify would be to privatize, to advertise, to have a private company come in and take over our entire services. So it's not Rumpke or any other person. It's anybody that's qualified. When we write those specifications, they would come in and they would take over all of our services. We would eliminate the current sanitation. Is that correct? That's the one? Right. The other one is that we maintain our services as our with our city employees, and then the third part is to increase that rate. So the current one, 190.25, would be to advertise for bids to bring in private companies to take over our entire sanitation, the trash collection, all that.
All right, and so I was kind of hoping that we might have some discussion on, yes, our sanitation and adjusting the rates before maybe coming back to these, but I guess, am I able to still discuss this now, or?
Has Greg voted yet? No. There's not, I don't think there's supposed to be any discussion in between votes. I mean,
Yeah, let's finish the votes, and then we can,
No.
Councilman Eads.
Yes.
now with these, this put advertise for bids, we don't have to accept these bids.
Well, ethically, you have to put it out with the intent to accept it. And I will say, I've had this discussion, is if I will not put a bid out, I will not put my name behind a bid that we don't intend to accept. The exception would be if we haven't anticipated what it is, and that bid would come in 5 times higher, and we have the right to do it. And I would lean to my law director, but I think you have to have the intent to ethically put it out. It's just like the conversation we had about, hey, let's just ask them what it is. The company is not going to tell you what they're going to bid, because this company knows and they beat them. It's not competitive if they know what the other person's going to bid.
I'm sorry. But it's a good faith proposal, basically.
Yes.
You know, you're not gonna,
it might be.
you're not, that's not, okay. Sorry. Yes, it is. Just like any other proposal, it has to be proffered in good faith. You can't just put a fictitious bid out there or have something that's with unreasonable expectations. It has to be based on real-time needs, real-time services to address those needs, with obviously the intent to satisfy the terms of the offer if it should be accepted on the other side.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if that were the case, then we've either done it wrong for a long time or this needs to be changed because this only says to advertise for bids, not to accept. In the past, we've had advertise and accept bids.
Can I ask why we would bid when we don't? Like this discussion's happened a number of times. I don't understand why we would put it to bid without the intent to do exactly what Councilperson Trainer said. Why would we put a bid out that we don't intend to accept? If I'm competing with your insurance company, were you going to give somebody else, your competitor, your rates? That's ridiculous.
To get a
Like,
quote.
we've had this discussion, so this is infuriating from the sense of we have a number of city employees here that are looking at their future. These questions should have come up at the meeting Tuesday. This is unacceptable that we're having this kind of question, that we're still willing to put that out there, that we're fishing for amounts. Unacceptable.
And that's where I'd say that the amounts that are put out there with the comparison of Plain City with their $21 for a 4,400 civilian city makes it tough to say that, hey, this is going to be any lower than what ours is currently or is going to be. The larger one that I've heard a good amount of feedback for is $100 for 3 months with Rumpke. And so that puts you at a $33 bill. That's $4 higher still than what we're going to raise ours to. So, there's lots of that, but I would say that, yes, it's usual for these businesses to give out these bids or quotes to kind of give that competition or say, hey, this is what your city or business is looking into. We provide that service for you. And that's why they would give a quote.
They would give a quote. They're not giving a quote. So I'm gonna back up to my conversation, the meeting the other night. So the last meeting, it was brought forward from Councilman Eads, Mr. Boyd wanting to do a study. I got a call, and this is why, and I said the last 2 meetings, I will not do that. I'm not doing that study because Mr. Boyd contacted Rumpke trying to get that information, implying he was an employee or an aide to city council, which is false. That's not it. I wouldn't do it. Mr. Rupert from Rumpke called me and said, we can't do that. We're not going to give that. It's not a common practice. They're not going to give an amount. They were glad to give other quotes, which the mayor got in public information from Plain City of what their 2 vendors are. So he'll be glad to provide what he's provided to other public entities because that's required by law. It's public information. So you can make a comparison. All right, we're not comparing us to Plain City. We're comparing the services they offered And that is a like comparison that we can look and say, hey, this is what they charge them. It's a best guess. So if we're looking at that price and they come in 3 times that amount, yes, I think then we have a right under good faith. It's not anywhere close to what we thought it was going to be. We could reject it. Or they couldn't meet our minimum standards. We can reject it. But they're not going to give us a price. I had a specific conversation with the representative from, and Rumpke is because he's our rep on what we do currently on the transfer station. That's why I've talked to Rumpke.
All right.
I don't think you'll find anybody that's going to tell you what they're going to bid, because anybody else out there could bring that, beat that bid by $1 and win it. That takes away the competition.
So yeah, it just kind of sounds like 21 is kind of the price we're given, but there really is no guarantee though to what the price will be. That's the main part that I think we should be able to look into, is that there is no guarantee.
Life doesn't come with guarantees.
But this number that we have to keep our employees to offer a Saturday drop-off for the citizens of this city that have asked for that we do have the opportunity to offer. And we aren't even discussing it before passing this. And so,
Councilman, Mr. Peters sat quiet for about 30 seconds and said, is there any discussion? And no one said a word. And then he said, he gave it about 20 to 30 seconds. No one ever spoke. Then he said, what are council's wishes? It was quiet for another 15 seconds and nobody spoke. And then somebody said, I'll move to adopt. So saying you didn't have an opportunity to speak about it, you had plenty of opportunity to speak about it and you didn't say anything.
well, that would be me speaking about 192.25 instead of 190.25. And so I wasn't sure on that, unfortunately, if I was able to discuss 192.25 during 190's reading. So my apologies on that confusion there. But that is where that came from, that, yes, I was saving my comments for the reading of ordinance 192.25. So, do we want to, anything else? All right,
Nope.
well, then, on we go.
Okay, Resolution 190-25 has passed. On to Resolution 191-25. Okay, get a motion to read by title number.
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 191-25, sponsored by Andy Hitt and Lisa Jackman. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for trash hauling services.
So this is to put out bids for trash hauling. Is this something that we need to do in the meantime until bids go out, or this still needs to be put in place?
And so this one is to continue services out is, I would bid for the transfer station, and I've got an extension through, I believe, July. I can extend it further if we had to. So I guess if I may freely speak, is with the passing of the last resolution, you just eliminated this. You can't do both. So you just voted to privatize. I don't need an extension of this. I can extend it on my own.
So since it's on the agenda, I guess we need to make a vote on it.
That's not correct?
I don't think we voted to privatize.
All right.
I think we voted to,
I
I think we voted to advertise for bids, and you had said during your part of the conversation was, if the bids came in 3 times higher, we could reject those. But if we're voting to privatize the way you just said, then it doesn't matter what the bids are, we're going to accept whatever you deem to be the best, even if it's 3 times higher.
I guess what I'm saying ethically, and I don't know if I'm using the right word, I can't put out a bid to do privatization and at the same time put out a bid to run the transfer station. If we privatize, that company's going to run it all. I don't need a transfer station. So I'm doing both, and you're making it look like, well, we'll decide which one we're taking. So I will put it, we can ask for a legal opinion, but I don't think that's ethical, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. We can't, you're asking a company to say, here's what we're going to charge, and we'll decide. Now, again, if they're out of the realm, I think we have the right to refuse it. But as Shannon said, the legal part, you have to have the intent to a legitimate offer to accept that. So if they come back and it was $80 a month, yeah, we probably have a right to refuse that. But
Yes, this is, Contract Law 101, you put out an offer. If that offer is accepted and it meets the conditions of the offer and all of, the standards and comes within the dollar amount of expectation, then you've got a contract. So,
Mr. President, when this was first presented, it was presented as this was going to be an either-or. I do believe. So either we would privatize and that decision would be made after the bids, or we would raise our rates. And since we already took care of 190.25, that's how I believe that was presented to council to begin with.
So if we privatize, we don't need to raise our rates, we set the rate based upon that. So the second part of the either-or is, if we're not going to privatize, then we have to continue operations. I have to have a contract to do the transfer stations we currently are, and then the third 192 would be to raise the rate so that we can continue this operation. So that would be an easy either-or. But you passed Resolution 19025 saying we're going to privatize. I don't know how we pass Resolution 191 if we're going to privatize. I mean, you put them all up so it's all there, and we're not starting over and do another 3 months of, if they decided not to privatize, now we got to start over to raise the fees. My understanding is that's why we did that. So if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah, so passing Resolution 190-25, 191 and 192.
Just to clarify, when these pieces of legislation came out of committee and came to the law director's office to draft the legislation itself, it was relayed to my office and that it was the intention to either pass 190 or pass 191 and 192 in conjunction. Pass 190 or 192 and 192 in conjunction. That was my understanding as well, how it came to my office and the way that they were drafted.
I think since they've been read multiple times, then we still have to vote on those, even though they don't really
Yes.
apply.
I think that's correct.
We'd have
We still
to,
have to vote.
we'd have to vote them down.
We have to vote.
Okay, so we're on 191.25. I make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Trainer,
No.
Councilman Hitt,
No.
Councilman Hayes,
No.
Councilman Stahl,
No.
Councilman Boyd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jackman,
No.
Councilman Eads.
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 191-25 has failed. On to ordinance 192-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance 192-25, sponsored by Andy Hitt and Lisa Jackman, an ordinance adjusting the rate of sanitation department services.
So this is basically the same deal since we passed 190.25, but this has been on the agenda multiple times and read multiple times. We would still need to make a vote on this. So I make a motion to adopt.
Can I discuss? Sorry.
Yeah, before
If we're
we
gonna-
vote, yes.
Thank you. So yeah, it was nice. I at least got to reach out to our sanitation department some more with, last meeting being kind of my first time on in here on that Monday. And one that came up with the return of the Saturday hours. That was a big one that we would have been able to offer as a city that you're not going to get from these other companies. The big part of it was that wasn't even something that was just for the citizens. That was a big day that our department used for the maintenance of our vehicles. So the fact that we haven't really been taking care of that and offering that, we were slightly diminishing our own departments by taking this away. And so it was nice to hear that that could have actually been offered back to us with the proper amount of people and employees within that department. The other questions were going to be was if the city was going to place the $60,000 for the salaries back in the budget for 2026 that we had actually decreased this year. I guess that we don't have to worry about that. However, I do believe that it shows that, hey, if we had a $467,000 salary line and we only budgeted for $407,000, clearly we could have actually cut down some of these increases on these rates that we would have possibly had. But this is something that I would have thought somebody would have seen maybe or kind of marked up before, but it was nice to kind of actually catch it here. At this point, there's no real point, but if anyone had any words on that down there.
Budgeted for that expense line, I budgeted for how current staffing has been. You asked for figures to include everybody per strength ordinance, and that's what I gave you. That's why the figures did not get budgeted for what I gave you.
Oh, good. And that's where I was just going to ask to kind of, hey, help out with this also, see if we could have that just in case. That way we were given a good push to actually fill our employees for our departments before going through with this removal of it. But, thank you. Also, it seemed the citizens said they wish to actually have kept it rather than compared to getting rid of it, but on we go. Thank you much.
Chris, you can do roll call now.
Councilwoman Jackman,
No.
Councilman Hayes,
No.
Councilman Boyd,
Yes.
Councilman Stahl,
No.
Councilwoman Trainer,
No.
Councilman Hitt,
No.
Councilman Eads.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 192-25 has failed. On to new
Mr.
business.
President, before we move on to that, I move to reconsider 19025, the resolution 19025.
I second.
Councilman Stahl,
I want to hear this again.
He wants a motion to reconsider.
To revote.
We're wanting to look into see if
Okay, I thought that was it. I
really
just
want
want
to
to
make sure. Yeah,
Yes,
did I hear yes?
yes.
Okay. Councilman Eads,
Yes.
Councilman Boyd,
No.
Councilwoman Jackman,
Now,
For
this is,
19025.
This will allow reconsider
this will just let us
19025.
Allowed.
reconsider.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Councilman Boyd, what was your answer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jackman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Trainer,
No.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
and Councilman Hitt.
No.
What was the count there? Okay.
Mr. President, the reason why I asked to reconsider this is because I don't think that I understood that this was not going to be an either/or, that this was a vote to switch without further ado, without further information. The reason why I asked to reconsider is I don't know that anybody else wants to do this, but I do intend to switch my vote at this time.
Do we need to make an amendment to accept, bid and accept? Is that required to have that in the language?
I missed the question, I'm sorry, I was looking up something.
It was a question of putting out a bid and then having to have legislation saying we would accept. Is that a requirement in the legislation that it bid and accept? Or if we amend it, we can amend it to say bid and accept?
The way that it's written, I believe is sufficient. It's the way that our other legislation for bids is written. A lot of the pieces of legislation are pulled from old templates of the same type of legislation. I believe the bid could be entered into as written, but I don't see an issue with amending it to say, put to bid and accept. I don't think that's
Ethically, I think bid, just like in anything else, is you have to have an intention to accept, otherwise you don't place a bid. So it's, maybe it wasn't explicitly stated, but, yeah, no, the connotations of placing out a bid were obviously that you would have an intent to accept that same bid.
So yes, I want to be clear, I believe it's sufficient as written. I don't think there's an issue with the amendment to include language to allow it to be accepted.
Okay, what are council's wishes?
I'd like to state that I've listened to all of the evidence. I've listened to the pros and the cons. And regarding
There you go. Let me help you.
For me personally, as much as I like our sanitation department, as soon as I learned that it was customary for the new company to extend employment to our current persons, that was my primary concern, was that we weren't gonna leave everybody out and high and dry. If you wanna comment to that, then, you know, yeah.
Let's just say
I need you to be up here.
Richard Wiggins, 175 Mountain Street. As an employee, being brought into the new company would be great, but let's just say it's Rumpke. Now I've got to drive to Dayton, Circleville, Columbus, one of them places, in order for me to have a job. That's fine during the summer, but we've seen what this winter's been like. If it comes down to that in the wintertime, I'm stuck. I mean, I've got a truck, but that doesn't guarantee I'm gonna be able to make it. I understand you're concerned about us, but I want you to know, when it was negative 20 degrees wind chill factor, we were still out there picking up the trash. No one complained about it. That's all.
And I agree with him after looking at the department itself and seeing that the main fix we're making is for a 10-foot by 1 foot long gap that's in their main maintenance garage there. You know, I was barely standing out there 10 minutes before I say, hey, let's step back inside, seeing the breath. And so these guys do, they push through, they work hard. And I'll say from my point of view, it's kind of a, hey, without unfortunately a price, I understand the ethical and legal that we wouldn't want to do this. But for having the chance to once again offer, hey, the drop off on weekends for the citizens, being able to, hey, have that self-control of watching our price, the $8 price jump isn't as large as what we might possibly see. And I'm not in for that bet, and I hope we can look into that.
I don't think there's any expectation that an $8 price jump at this juncture is going to be the end of it. These are going to be regular, repeatable rate increases in order to address the massive infrastructure improvements that needs to happen. It's not only the entire electrical system, it's the entire, if I understand, it's the rotor grinding system, at the transfer station. It's everything about the building that needs to be completely upgraded and brought up to whatever code, I'm not even sure. So, and the issue with the trash trucks constantly failing, this initial $8 increase is by no means the end of it, by no means. No means. And this is not only, it's the wear and tear on the employees, it's the wear and tear on the administration and and the constant worry over, maintaining these services that we have. There is absolutely no guarantee that that price isn't going to jump by an initial 35 to 40% and continue to go up from there, first of all. Secondarily, if we can guarantee that our employees are at least extended the opportunity to have employment, and I understand that very well may be local, that, you'd obviously have to pass the strictures of the new employer, but, we're in a situation where it's not just the wear and tear on the bodies, the buildings, the machinery, the mind, when we have companies that are perfectly capable and willing to come in and take care of this and maintain the fees at or below what we're paying right now, without the very significant increases. This is a no-brainer.
I'd say it's a gamble to say at or below our prices now. That's my one main thing. However, we have been seeing this department ask for assistance and trucks since 2023. We took on this department when we gave away the sewer and water department. We haven't put the increases into it. We do have the 3% increase already factored into this for the yearly increases needed. And I believe in this sanitation department that actually said that they say that this is going to help continue and will cover the required prices for maintaining this department, getting these 2 trucks at least, and the repairs.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
So a couple things. I'd asked Mr. Saltzman the other night, I feel that generally council wants to follow what the suggestions are, and I asked if he would be willing to make his suggestion on which way to go, and I don't know if he's willing to do that or not. However, I just want to be clear that if we're making the decision, if you walked in thinking you want to keep our sanitation department, then we have to fail the first one and pass the next 2, if that was your thought. If your thought was that you want to privatize, then obviously we keep this one on and the other 2 have already failed. But that's the decision that I don't know that I understood I had to make tonight before I walked in. And I don't know if anybody else knew that either. And maybe everybody understood and I just didn't. I don't know. But I just want to clarify that part.
Please.
So there's been a lot of discussion, right? We've had 3 hearings on this. This is the largest group we've had yet. I've got zero questions from council, not one, other than your meeting with Mr. Boyd, nothing. So tonight, and if I appear upset, I am ticked off. I'm ticked off because we're in that question of what it meant. At 2 weeks, I was asked by Mr. Eads whether or not what my opinion was. I don't have an opinion. I've been here 2 weeks. I was asked it 2 months. So now I'm asked again what my opinion. First of all, that's your decision, not mine. I did what I said. I would present a proposal one way or the other. What I did determine is there's no way we can continue operation without asking more money. No way. It's not feasible. It's not. And you're right. That price is going to continue to go up. We can't give them raises, deal with equipment raises and the price increases without increasing the price. That's probably why we're in the situation we are now. Prices are going to increase, period. I don't care which way you look. I feel like you all are looking on a way to point it to somebody else that's the problem. That's what I feel. So you asked what my opinion? I think all of our employees in the city are worth keeping. All right? Shannon, you brought up some very valid things. That's your decisions you have to make. Is it worth the money we're asking to put in and the continued? Now, I can't tell you what it's going to continue to cost. I have no idea. Today, we had another truck go down, and tomorrow I've got to sign a lease or a rental agreement to have another truck, or we're not picking up commercial dumpsters. Like, it's not going to change. Too many people want to look in the past and talk about all the other things. I'm sick and tired of getting beat up on Facebook by anybody, and nobody has bothered calling. You know, if people want to talk about it, come sit down in the meeting. Let's sit and have that discussion. But we come tonight and nobody understands what we're voting for. That's terrible. Like, that's to me, that's where I say it's unacceptable. So people ask me to do my job. I've got a lot to do. I've had a lot to learn, and I'm still learning. I spent yesterday 5 hours riding to get a better idea of what's there. First time I've had in the 5 months I've been here. So I'm going to tell you what I said at the beginning. It's your decision to make. It's not mine. We have good people. I do believe that with that increased money, we can make it work, but absolutely there's going to be an increase. So I think the way the resolution reads has to be adjusted anyway because the prices went on January 1st. We're talking about the add-on on that. And I can't promise you that there's not other issues going to arise. That building needs repaired. The roof needs repaired. We need to add things to the wall. If we keep it, we have to go to Ohio Edison and get a 3-phase put in that we think is going to be about $175,000. It could be more. Maybe not. We're going to fix that building one way or the other. Now, timing may be different, but it's still a piece of city asset we have to keep. All this is things we've discussed before. We have to get the trucks. You know, we need to get off a $11,000 lease and purchase a truck to see what we can buy it for. That's going to take time. We're probably going to need a second one shortly thereafter. And then there's other things that have to be done. But we keep pushing it, and we want to push it till May or other times. We can't make a decision. We can't move forward. I can't change how our closed shop or the open shop, the dumpsters, none of that could really happen until we would know what we're doing. So it makes no sense that we push this further down the road, put out a bid, and then we decide then if we're going to go to do it the other way, unless it's completely outrageous. And I agree, if we got something that was, $21 is Plain Cities, and they come back and said it's 75 for London, yeah, I think in good faith we would be able to turn down that bid. But by keep pushing this out, you're not helping the citizens of London. I think our employees, all of them, are worth it. I do believe with that amount of money we can move forward. Not everybody agrees with me. There's going to be additional cost, and I can't say that 3 months from now, so I'm not a genie. I can't tell you what's going to happen to those trucks. I don't know. And, it is a decision that the voters have put you in to make that decision. Good, bad, or indifferent. Anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you, Steve. So is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
John.
Councilman Hitt,
Yes.
Councilman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Trainer,
Yes.
Councilman Boyd,
No.
Councilwoman Jackman,
No.
Councilman Eads,
No.
Councilman Stahl.
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 190-25 has passed. Now on to, there's no new business, so on to roundtable. John?
Thanks, everybody, for coming out. It's very interesting to get all the different opinions. And this is one of the most contentious things I've ever seen in all my years here. And I guess we just can't make up our minds. And I thank everybody for their opinions. And I hope we all do the right thing. Thank you.
Tommy?
All right, first off, thank you again to our sanitation employees especially for, going through everything. It's an unfortunate night, I'll say. We had a chance to actually save one of our departments after we've already gotten rid of 2 of them in the last 2 years. Here we are again giving away another one. However, that's kind of where we're at when things haven't been managed properly, it seems. And so thank you to all the citizens online that, might have chimed in when we did discuss this. I want to say it's sad to hear that, does our voice really matter? Does our opinion really matter is what I hear. And I wish I could say it was more of a yes. Unfortunately, though, we don't hear that, and we go with something else that has now eliminated, once again, one more of our departments. That is all.
Shannon?
And I know the dissenting voices out there on Facebook are the loudest. They are also routinely the most uninformed. This is a hard decision to make from every aspect, and the wear and tear on the powers that be. It's not just the wear and tear on the vehicles and the wear and tear on the bodies of the people that are employing. Like I said, my biggest concern was once I was assured that there would be employment opportunities offered to the current department. But the wear and tear on the vehicles, we've had these trucks break down. It seems like every other week these things are breaking down. The problems with the infrastructure and the transfer station and all this other stuff is just, years and years and years of things that are now to a point of, it's do or die. Or move on. And if everybody's going to complain about, well, we should be able to do this for the current prices, no, that is absolutely out of the question. The price increase right now, I think, was an initial proposal of around 30%. Yeah, and there's nobody's got a crystal ball. There are no guarantees in life, but nobody wants to pay more for services that are being perfectly capable of being provided by a privatized organization. And it saves the wear and tear of this constant worry over what to do with the infrastructure, what to do about the trash trucks, what to do about the lease payment. from everybody in the administration of the city. So I apologize to the street department, but this was a decision that is greater than, the couple individuals that work there.
Andy?
Yeah, I want to thank the Safety Service Director for all the research he did on this topic. I do feel bad for the employees of the sanitation department, but hopefully that could be something that could be written into the contract with whoever might take the bid, and they could be employed in that service or be transferred to another position within the city if something was to come up. I'd agree with Shannon that it's fiscally, it just seems like this is the best decision in order to have uninterrupted services or continued issues with truck breakdowns or building breakdowns or whatever might come up. So that was kind of the reasoning for my vote. And the Service Committee meeting is February 10th at 5 o'clock over in the meeting room here. And Safety Committee is at 6 o'clock in the meeting room next door on February 10th.
Rich?
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. This is a tough one. I want to thank all of our city employees for the jobs you do for the city. You do great. You're great employees. I don't know what we'd do without you. And I'm hoping that our sanitation employees can either be, we have a street department that needs people. Maybe we can just laterally transfer them to the street department if they would so wish to do that. Or the new company will pick them up. But if they want to work for the city, let's give them a chance to work somewhere in the city. I want to speak to all the rumors and the trash that's out there. That's what it is. It's trash. Right now, online, on phones, word of mouth. If you don't know something and you don't understand something, there's 7 of us up here. We all got phone numbers on the city site. Call the damn number and get a hold of one of us, and we'll talk to you. We're not untouchable, but call, talk to us, ask us the questions. If we don't know, we'll find out for you. But at least, all the stuff that's going on out here, ex-council members and that have moved and putting stuff out, it's just ridiculous. It's like a Trump syndrome thing going on here, but it's a London syndrome. And it needs to stop. We need to work together. We need to come together. We need to take care of the city. That's what we were voted in for. And I'm going to do my best to do this. And I hope that everybody else will, and I'm sure they will. We've got a good group of people up here right now, so we're going to be all right. We're growing, and when you have growth, you have problems, you have things that come up that you've not faced before. We've got to get over it. We've got to work together. Got to be a team effort, teamwork. And I just ask Lord God Almighty to watch over our city, watch over our employees, watch over our citizens, keep us all safe and well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Lisa?
I don't have it.
Greg?
Well, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to reconsider that vote, because if nothing else, I needed to vote my conscience. And it wasn't my conscience to get rid of our sanitation department. It was my desire to keep them, because I agree with Steve. I think we could save them. I think they do a good job. And if the either or came to me, it was going to keep them. So at least I got to vote that, and I thank you for that. The Finance Committee meeting will be on February 10th, 6:30 in the building or in the room next door.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We don't have another meeting out to the 5th of
No,
February.
I'm not sure. I think we just raised all the rates for the citizens to cover our own prices. That's that. We didn't want to pay for something, so we put it on them.